Welcome to the Athletic NBA Show podcast, Basket Buds edition, here on the Athletic Podcast Network. I'm your host, Zach Harper. We've got Jay King. We got Dave DeFore producing. We got Will Guillory filling in for Josh Hustis, who, I don't know, man, he's lost in Montana. Like, we tried to reach him, and he's just, like, on a horse somewhere. His response at first was, I'm doing Montana shit. That's what I'm doing. And we don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Like, he's on a ranch. He's climbing a mountain. I don't know. Yellowstone's beautiful.
Are these the types of lies you tell about me when I'm off the podcast too?
Thanks for listening.
I can't replace what Josh brings to the pod, but I can say that I was also an elite basketball player during my heyday, so it should be an easy transition.
Easy transition, absolutely. And then someone has to pick up the slack of all the missed jumpers that Jay King throws up there. Are you wearing? What do you wear? Are you wearing like one of those boxing suits to like cut weight? Like those sweatsuits? What are you wearing?
No, it's just a regular pullover. Find a new
That's
slant.
not a regular pullover. That looks like pleather.
This is a regular pullover. It's just two tones. So it's got a little gray. It's got a little blue. Let me live.
All right. We got a fun show. We got the hot take safe zone
already.
Yeah, of course. The hot take safe zone is going to welcome Will and his hot takes into it. We got a little Chet versus Wemby action. The Thunder are good. The Kings are good. We got all kinds of things to discuss. But first, oh my God, do we have a deal for you? What is it? It's the holiday season. theathletic.com/NBA show. $1 a month. Subscribe to The Athletic. $1 a month. $1. That's it. Athletic.com/NBA show. Also, less than $1. Free. The Bounce newsletter for myself and Shams Strana every morning. Theathletic.com/The Bounce. All right, guys. We've got a lot to talk about. The Warriors. Ooh, they're in some trouble. But before we get to the main courses, how about this? What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Beside it, like no one's gonna pick turkey. Jay might pick turkey. That's that.
Oh, don't get me started on turkey, man. Turkey is
I'd like
the worst meat anyone could have picked. I
was talking to somebody yesterday. That's what was available, Mister. We started this Thanksgiving thing in Massachusetts. That's what was available at the time.
We don't have to bring up the off-air conversation.
I was talking to someone yesterday. They were like, forget doing turkey, like chicken wings, fried chicken, like that's what we need to do. Like that's the bird of choice, right? Like why do we switch it up to turkey? This whole thing. Dave's saying prime rib. Let me be honest. I don't love a prime rib. I'm
right there with you. I can't lie. I'm right there with you.
Prime rib. Like every time it's like, hey, we're going to this prime rib place. I'm like, oh, all right. Like it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be like a 6 out of 10.
It looks like a big ass brontosaurus rib on your plate, like from the Flintstones.
Yeah,
it's all bloody. I'm good.
It's also just doing a lot. Like if everyone was just making prime rib at the crib, I feel like that's just doing a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Throw a good ham on there. I'm good with a good ham at Thanksgiving.
I did see on Instagram this morning that our former colleague and friend Wozni Lambre was at a Friendsgiving party that had prime rib. So you say it's doing a lot. Woz would confirm.
He's already celebrating Thanksgiving.
What you do Friendsgiving? You do Friendsgiving early.
Thanksgiving.
No, you do Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving, yeah. Yes. You do Friendsgiving with your friends before you do Thanksgiving with the family.
Why not just order pizza with your friends and call it hanging out with my friends instead of doing Friendsgiving?
Okay, we're getting sidetracked. This isn't the hot take safe zone yet. All right, this whole episode is the hot take safe zone.
Too much.
Oh
Woz, you and your friends are weird, bro.
Hold on. You have a problem with people getting together and cooking?
Yeah,
enjoying time with their friends.
Enjoying time, going, hey guys, I know we're gonna be pulled every which way for the holidays. You're going to New York, you're going to California, you're going to Virginia, you're going to Montana to find Josh Hustis. Like all these things of what we're doing, and like before we do that, and maybe these people don't love being around their family. We don't know what the family dynamic is. Maybe they just want to have a nice Thanksgiving meal with their friends.
But
And
why would
everyone
you want a
contributes.
Thanksgiving meal? That's my problem. That's
Because
my
the
problem.
okay, so let's get back to the topic.
Have another
The
type of meal.
sides, if you do it right, are amazing. Everyone kind of gets through the turkey, but the sides are amazing. So
That's what we're really here for. The
I want to
sides at
start with
Thanksgiving.
Will. Will, what is your side of choice?
Listen, no Thanksgiving meal is complete without a quality mac and cheese.
I knew he was
You
going to say
need
that.
you
That was
need
You got
high
it. You
quality
have
mac
to.
and cheese
You have
at the
to.
Thanksgiving meal. I'm New Orleans, so I love me some potato salad as well
Okay.
with my Thanksgiving meal. And also, I'm New Orleans, so I gotta say you need some gumbo at Thanksgiving.
Oh, God, I
If
love
you give me
gumbo.
the gumbo before the plate comes out,
Mhm.
then you're doing it right. You're doing it right.
We asked him
Especially
for one
shout out to
side,
my
and
mom's
he
gumbo.
named the whole menu.
Listen, come on.
Hey.
That's what you're supposed to do at Thanksgiving. You're supposed to do too much.
Yeah.
So I'm
exactly.
doing way too much on
You're supposed to
Thursday.
put yourself in a food coma.
Yeah, man.
There's this thing we have. My mom makes it. I made it a couple of times. It's really good. It's like this. I don't even know how you describe. I guess technically, it's like a sweet potato casserole, but it's basically just like sweet potatoes and like sugar and like chopped pecans on top and everything. It's baked and like it's like you go into a diabetic coma the second you take a bite. But it's so incredible. So that and my sister makes the best mashed potatoes in the world. It's a lot of butter, it's a lot of milk. The gravy's amazing. So those are like my two favorite sides. Mac and cheese got to be in there for sure. Jay, I don't want to hear any like green beans. Okay. I don't want to hear cranberry sauce here. Give us a
So,
side.
I don't want to give him credit because he's the laziest person ever in the kitchen. He literally makes food 2 days a year. But my dad has the craziest scrambled eggs on Christmas, and he has the craziest stuffing on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And
I swear to God,
the
if you had
stuffing he
said,
makes
Time
was-
out.
hold on.
Time out.
If I thought you were saying the best Thanksgiving side was scrambled eggs, and if
Scrambled
that-
eggs.
the podcast would have been what 7 minutes, 20 seconds plus buffer time for intro and
That
outro.
would've-
That would have been it. We would have
I
done
don't
any
think I
basketball.
ever
would've-
would have been
would've
welcome
shut
back.
it down. No, of course not. It'd be me, Will, and Josh. That's what it would be from now on.
The rule on Thanksgiving is no breakfast because you just prepare yourself for the big meals the rest of the day.
What are you doing? Like, have a little coffee, have some juice. Like,
I didn't say that's on Christmas. That's on Christmas. Thanksgiving is my dad's stuffing.
you're giving Will shit for giving 3 sides, and you went to a different holiday
It's a Christmas.
and not even a side. This is breakfast.
I was
right,
just
so
saying he only cooks twice a year. That's
Okay.
it. He does nothing else. And I don't want to give him credit, but I got to.
The stuffing's legit.
It's amazing.
Is this like stuffing in the bird? Is it just in a pan on its own?
Just in a pan.
Like,
Just
okay.
in a pan. You don't have to have it in the bird all day.
I don't love stuffing.
I
I'll
don't
be
either.
honest. Like,
I
it's
don't
not,
Yeah.
My dad is crazy.
It's not like a April side, but if you get a quality stuffing on Thanksgiving, I'm definitely good with it. But it's definitely contained purely to Thanksgiving, and that's it.
Yeah. Hey guys, speaking of things that are cooked, the Golden State Warriors. With that for a transition, huh? No,
I like
thought
it.
you
You're a
would like that.
professional. You're a
Yeah,
professional.
Goodness. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I was like, yeah, this Warriors team's got it. They look good. Now, they've lost at the time of this recording, 6 straight? Lost 6 straight. Draymond suspended. Clay, I don't know what the hell's going on with Clay Thompson. Like, he's shooting 19% on open 3-pointers. 19%.
That's impossible.
It's nuts. I would have guessed, I wrote this in the newsletter, I would have guessed he could shoot 20% from 3 with his offhand. Like, that's why I would be like, oh yeah, he can get 20. Like, 1 out of every 5 with that, he'll figure that out. He's not doing that with his right hand right now. And so, they're sort of having Kuminga in the mix, they're sort of having Moody in the mix, and then it goes away. Steve Kerr still has a problem playing a lot of these young guys. And so, like, are you worried? They can't. It's the opposite of last season, Will. They can't win at home now. They couldn't win on the road last year. They can't win at home now. How worried are you about the Warriors' chances of figuring this out. It's still we're 12 games in the season, whatever that is, 13 games in the season. It's not. We still got a lot of time left, and they have time to. Clay has time to get it going, but man, it looks bad right now.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for optimism, I think, the Draymond suspension kind of threw them off. They missed a few games without Steph. So they've had some instability in the lineup. Maybe if they can get a little bit of a flow going with their main guys, they can get them some things better. But you mentioned it. Klay Thompson has just been straight up bad this year. I mean, 14 a game. He's shooting 33%, I think, on threes. Andrew Wiggins is another one. He had a 30 ball against OKC in his last game, and he's still averaging 12 a game, shooting 22% on threes. So that, I mean, their main scores outside of Steph just aren't providing that offensive punch that they need. And without Draymond, obviously they can't defend the same way. So yeah, I think it's putting a lot of stress on Steph. It's forcing him to go out and drop 35, 40 just for them to be competitive in some of these games. And you look at the bench, it's not a whole lot there. They got the guy Pudzamiski, whatever his name is, coming in. He's providing, whatever he's giving you random minutes. They got some Kuminga mixed in there. He's kind of a
Podziemski might be the best pound for pound rebounder in the league. That dude rebounds.
Okay, well, let's see if that works against Jokic.
Right.
Him pound for pound versus a giant. Yeah.
It's him and Chris Paul running around there. Like,
I don't want to hear pound for pound from the guy who thinks that he could beat up Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, well, I mean, Floyd's better pound for pound, but you get him in the ring with my 235, and he's in trouble.
Let me say
put
this:
that weight on him.
I'm so thankful you gave him the credit of pound for pound. He's a better fighter than you. The guy who's never lost. The guy who's never lost to professionals.
With the extra Thanksgiving weight on, Jay, he really gonna lay it on him. I mean, but no, I think the other thing for the Warriors too is last year when Wiggins was out, they were doing a whole lot of talking about, man, when we have our starting five together, look how great our numbers are. They were plus 21 last year with their starting five. This year, that same starting five is minus 14 net rating.
Yeah.
So they're just like, even the core guy. I think a lot of people point to, well, Chris Paul's there. They're different. Chris Paul's doing his Chris Paul thing. It doesn't fit. Nah, when they have their starting five out there, they're not good. So I think there's some deeper problems there.
I think the Chris Paul addition's good. Like I actually have no problem. Yeah, I have no problem with the way they've played with him on the court and him and Steph together. Like I think it's fine. Like the problem is that Wig has been terrible, Clay has been terrible, and Draymond is getting suspended for being a backpack, right? Like that's what it was. Like
what a moment that was. Just an all-time moment.
It's the funniest fight in NBA history.
That was no fight. That was simply a submission hold. That was it.
God, it was so funny.
There was no fighting involved.
Jay, do you see any real optimism? And when obviously like the Warriors I don't think they're gonna miss the playoffs unless injuries really hit them. But it's about, like, with them, it's about, can they get to contending status?
So to me, the Warriors have always been first and foremost an incredible defensive team. And they're an incredible defensive team with the best shooting backcourt ever, but it starts with the defense. And right now, they're 16th in defensive rating. Their defensive rating with Draymond Green on the court. This is Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best defenders, probably the best defender of this generation.
Yeah.
They have 118 defensive rating with Draymond Green on the court. They are
those are Jazz Spurs numbers right now. That's
yeah.
Bad. For people who don't know what that means, like that's bad. That's like that would be like bottom 5 in the league.
Their starting lineup with Kuminga, with Looney, with Draymond, with Wiggins, with Clay, with Steph is giving up 119 points per 100 possessions. So it starts with the defense, and all the focus has gone to Klay Thompson missing shots. All the focus has gone to Andrew Wiggins missing shots. I'm not that worried about Klay, quite frankly. He went through a stretch like this last year. He ended up making more three-pointers than anyone in the league. He ended up shooting 41.2% from behind the arc. Klay always has these stretches. Maybe he actually is done this time, and that's a concern. They're older. They're clearly a little creaky. But to me, it all starts with the defense, and I think they were thrown off when Draymond got hurt before the season. He came back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Clearly wasn't in game shape. They need him to be able to wreck stuff. They need him out there to give them life. And he just wasn't the same when he came back from that injury. So I'm willing to give them time. Obviously, they've earned that with their history.
Theory. He got suspended so he could rest that ankle.
It wouldn't be the worst thing. Hit the treadmill every day.
He going into that night, he's like, man, this ankle just isn't. I could really use like 5 games off, but we can't sit anymore. We got the player policy. You know what? We got Gobert in town tonight. I'm gonna choke that motherfucker.
Yeah. He got to work on his technique on the chokeholds too. Gobert said it wasn't quite effective, so he got. I don't know how to get that arm in there right.
I think Gobert's like for once I thought Gobert was funny and like not unintentionally funny. Like I thought everything he said after the game was funny. At the same time, I don't think Draymond. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I don't think Draymond was trying to kill Gobert. I don't think he was trying to get him to actually pass out. Like I wasn't trying to make.
Is this the hot take segment here? You're saying he did try to murder Gobert in front of
the hot take safe zone, man. I'm gonna say I feel pretty confident Draymond Green wasn't trying to commit murder.
I mean, you never know with Draymond. You never know the intentions there. But Rudy pretending like the dude wanted to make him pass out was incredible stuff.
Yeah, Rudy turned into Joe Rogan with like, it wasn't really. He didn't really lock his elbow in her.
Listen, I'm not going to protect Rudy here. Rudy saying I threw my hands up to let the refs know I wasn't escalating the situation. Rudy, once the fight started, it's up. There is no like I'm not the fight has started. You gotta move forward knowing that the fight has already started. So there's no going back now.
When you're being choked. You can't. This isn't. Well, I need to de-escalate the situation. That's not what's going on. Man.
It's already escalated. That was my problem with Rudy. Rudy's like, I'm not doing anything. Like, no, you're getting choked. That's what you're doing. So you need to react to that.
The problem is that 2 of your teammates, Cat and Dan, are just watching. just watching. I want to see how this plays out.
He also could not get out of the chokehold. Like, absolutely could not get out of the chokehold. He had the audacity to say the chokehold was no good.
This isn't fair to Rudy. We're supposed to be talking about how bad the Warriors are, man.
I'm not supposed to be out here fair to Rudy Gobert. No.
Well, Rudy's the #1 seed in the West right now.
I will never be fair to Rudy Gobert.
Cat has been killing it the last like 5-6 games. He had the game winner the other night. Ant's amazing.
3. And it didn't even look like the worst form ever.
Oh man, no, he shot one in New Orleans the other night, and the entire media row gasped. It was like, "Oh my god, that just happened."
There's no other reaction you can have than just a straight up gasp.
I was gonna say we're killing Rudy, but Draymond apparently actually tried to kill Rudy on the court.
no, I'm on the
that's
record.
Much different.
Not trying to commit murder. All right. Speaking of that game against the Thunder. Hell of a game, man. What a fun game that was the other night. So the Thunder ended up winning in overtime. Shea is just a monster. He had a great post. He said something like, had to go eat, or I was in the Bay, had to go eat 40, so I went dumb or something like that. And drops 40 points on him, breaks Steph's ankles, has incredible play after incredible play down the stretch. And in overtime, like Shea is, he's first team all NBA. He's obviously bona fide star. But Chet killed in that game. 36, 10, and 5, I think. Hit the game tying 3 that sent it into overtime. A lot of debate about, you got a foul and stuff. I thought Steve Kerr's explanation afterwards was like, look, if you can prevent the shot, you foul. If not, you're not going to set up a 4-point play. And he just hit a hell of a shot. Like I thought Wiggins' defense was pretty good. Like there's not shit you can do in that situation. He's 7 foot tall and he hit the shot. But here's what I hate. It then gets into, well, if you look at what Chet's doing and you look at what Wemby's doing, Chet's clearly either better or having a better season. And I need us to put this shit into context because I'm not doing this all season. All right, Jay, hold on. I can see you fucking ramping up. Just hold on a second, okay? There is a massive difference between being the 4th option on a really good team, which is not easy to do. It's not easy to do. Like, Chet's still got to do what he's doing, and he's playing about as well as you can ask him to play. But there's a massive difference between being the 4th option and that is what he is. He is the fourth option. He is closer to Lou Dort's field goal attempts per game than he is to, I think, Jalen Williams or Josh Giddey's third. Like, he's the fourth option on that team. And being the first option on a team that has the youngest roster in the league, absolutely no playmakers. I saw Doug McDermott throw a post-entry pass that was the worst thing I've ever seen at any level last week. Surprise, it got stolen. It didn't even make it to Wemby. But there is a massive difference between being asked to carry a shit team that has no experience, where Zach Collins is your veteran, and being the fourth option on a really good Thunder team. And so you can't say, like, well, if you look at what he's doing, look at what he's doing. It's not even close to the same role. And so, Jay, I know you have thoughts on this. Will, what do you think? And this whole Wemby versus Chet.
He said, Jay, I know you have thoughts on this. You will not talk yet.
Just silence yourself, Jay. Let us get our stuff off over here.
But halfway through that whole rambling, I thought, oh, I'm gonna make Jay wait.
No, what's funny is I was sitting there listening to you go on your spiel, and I was like, God, he's gonna steal my point because I want to throw water on the Chet versus Wemby comparisons too. But I'm doing it for a different reason. It's because Chet got a full redshirt season to prepare himself for this year.
How much
he got
do
to
we
take
think
the
that
whole
matters?
year off? Because he got to prepare himself physically. He got to be a pro for a full year, deal with the travel, be around his team, learn how his teammates play, learn how to work within the system. Imagine if Wemby just took this entire season off and then started playing next year, how he would look compared to what he's doing right now. That's what I would say. And of course, Wemby's got a different experience because he was a pro over in France. They did a whole lot to prepare him for this moment. He's probably more prepared than most rookies, but still, there's no experience for the NBA quite like being in the NBA. And that's what Chet did for a full season last year. And I think some folks in OKC will tell you he probably could have played toward the end of last season if they really wanted to put him out there. So he was able to do stuff last year, be on the court, really test his body, build himself up. So he's a much different version of himself than he was last year when he first came into the league. So I think compared to those two guys is a little unfair because Chet has been a pro already for a full year in the NBA.
But they're two tall rookies.
Yeah, they're two tall rookies. They shoot threes. I get it. They're going to be compared for the rest of their careers. But I think Chet right now is just at a different point just because of what he was able to experience last year being part of the Thunder.
That's interesting. Like, I never truly know what to do with that. The red, like, we know, like, Blake Griffin did it. Ben Simmons did it. There's somebody else that did it. And I never know. I honestly never know, like, how much that affects. It obviously does affect someone's preparedness and what they can expect, but you still have to get out on the court in real games and perform.
And I think for him, he clearly used it well. Like, he was not even close to this level of a shooter when he was at Gonzaga. Was not even close. He did not have the post move fadeaways and the great touch on that. He just didn't have that. And so you have to think, based on the way he came back, that he was super diligent during his rehab. He was super diligent about adding skills to his game. While we're comparing these two, I'm going to take this in a different direction. That Zach is definitely not prepared for me to take, because I was in the group chat trolling him the other night because I knew he thought that Wembanyama was far, far away better than Chet Holmgren. So
I still do. Yeah.
So I was in the group chat.
And by the way, that's not a knock on Chet. That's not a knock on Chet. I just think Wemby's that good. Like, it has nothing to do with how good Chet is. Like, that's all about Wemby.
We don't have to compare them. We don't. And we should just appreciate these dudes. We don't have to at every point throw Chet against Wembanyama. We don't have to do it. We can sit here and say, you know what? Chet's the perfect complementary piece for the Thunder. He arrived, and from day one, he took a team that won 40 games, that was in the plan, and just connected everything. They run so much offense through him, whether he's the popper or the roller. He grabs rebounds and takes off. He's 7 feet tall. He grabs rebounds, he takes off, he leads the break. Wembanyama, we've never seen somebody like him. We've never seen someone with the fluidity who's able to get his own shot. He's doing it with Jeremy Sohan as his point guard. So, yeah, the efficiency numbers aren't going to be there like they are for Chet. But we don't have to compare them. These are two of the most gifted prospects. We could just appreciate them. We could watch them grow and say, you know what? Chet is amazing. Chet is absolutely killing dudes on offense. He has taken that offense to a totally different level. He has made them so much more difficult to guard while blocking shots everywhere, while being a super high IQ defender. And Wembanyama is doing a lot of the same stuff in San Antonio, even though it's a worse situation. Let's just enjoy these dudes, man. I love these dudes. I love both these dudes. Let's all just love them.
I hate this take. I hate this everybody love everybody Jackie Moon shit that you do. I'm not here for it. I'm not
Jackie,
here for it.
I've never watched that.
You never watched Semi-Pro?
No, I watched real basketball. I don't watch
I
movies.
didn't either.
Watch real basketball. You watch the basketball tournament.
That's a great basketball. That's high level.
That's great basketball. No, it's not.
That's high level.
No.
High level might be a little strong.
Show Len Elmore some respect.
No. No, I won't.
Oh God. Oh God.
You know what's I mean, we will have to compare them at some point since they're up for the same award. But you know what pissed me off, Will, the other night, as I don't even know where the chat was at this point, but Jay said something that he knew was gonna like trigger me, whatever the word is that you want to use. He's like, he mentions the Rookie of the Year race. Now, I apologize for any of my friends and respected colleagues that I'm about to take out with this statement, okay? If you are discussing award races before January, I'm not going to call you a hack because that's rude. But you are participating in hack behavior. There is absolutely zero award talk that should happen before Thanksgiving, before Christmas, before New Year's. Absolutely zero.
1,000%.
Someone
It's
going
ridiculous.
This person's got to be the Coach of the Year candidate. What?
That's even worse.
We're not even at Jay's dad making stuffing yet on the calendar, and you
He hasn't even started making scrambled eggs.
He didn't even buy the eggs yet, let alone start scrambling them. Do not do the award race thing, please.
That's
Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year is somewhat understandable because we kind of knew who the candidates were going to be coming into the year. Like we knew it was going to be Wemby versus the field. Maybe you throw some Scoot in there, Chet. So I could get the Rookie of the Year, but Coach of the Year, MVP, most improved. If you start throwing out most improved candidates, I'm gonna tell you need to go touch grass. Go outside, get some sun on your skin, and experience life. Stop looking at awards, and we got a whole lot of time to do that.
I look at it the same way I look at when I'm doing radio. I'm hosting radio. If I take a call, you know I'm out of things to say. You know, like a lot of radio hosts will do it, and I don't necessarily fault them. Because it is free content. Having callers call in and they set the topic and then you react to it. It's free content and it's the easiest way to do radio. But if I take a call on radio, it's because I've run out of things to say. If we are doing awards races before January, it means you have nothing to say. That's what I truly believe. And again, that's with all due respect to the colleagues and friends that I have in this business that I don't want to take out here. There are plenty that I do want to take out here, and I hope that the people that I don't want to protect, I hope you take it personally. But for the other ones, I apologize for the strays you're catching, but it is participating in hack behavior. That's what I would say. Let's just not do it. How many guys on the Thunder would you draft before you drafted a Spur that's not Wembanyama? Like Shea, obviously, Chet, obviously, Giddey, I think, obviously, the good Jalen Williams, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'd probably go for Vassell at that point over any of the other guys on OKC.
Yeah, I think then Vassell's there, and then maybe Keldon Johnson. Maybe he's the next one after Vassell. I don't think I would go back to the Thunder just quite yet.
And then the Thunder have. Then you got to go Dort.
Yeah, Dort's up there.
Oh, yeah, I'd probably take. Actually, maybe I'd take Dort before Keldon. Keldon is an Olympic gold medalist, right? That's tough.
Yes. But no, I think the point is
Keldon's good. Keldon's a legitimately good player. I'm not trying to take him out there. I just think it's funny that you got to say Olympic gold medalist with him.
But we also do have to give Chet credit for the fact that he's a major contributor on one of the best teams in the West. As much as we're saying,
and again, like playing that role perfectly, Will. Like
yeah,
he's
for
been
sure.
Superb.
We just mentioned he's hitting big shots in some of these games. He's had games where he's been the second leading scorer next to Shea. So it's not like he's just kind of along for the ride out there. He's a big part of why they've been one of the better teams in the league so far.
His reaction to that game tying 3-pointer was just
that was so funny,
amazing too.
It was so funny.
Because nobody else reached that level with him. He just reached a level of enthusiasm.
Yeah,
and Josh Giddey was just looking at him like kind of quizzically. Like
I can't imagine Josh Giddey gets excited about him a whole lot. He just seems like a very mellow Australian. All right, let's get to the hot take safe zone. For those who don't know, the hot take safe zone. You get to say your hot take. We can ask questions to clarify. We can ask questions, but we cannot fight it. We cannot argue it. We have to accept it. We have to celebrate it. That is the point of the hot take safe zone. Something we do on NBA radio when it's myself and Amin Al-Hassan. Brought it to this podcast because I just think it's fun. And mostly you would think that this would empower Jay King with the ability to just say whatever he wants and no one pushes back. It actually puts him in jail because he wants people to push back because he wants to argue and then he wants to yell about your hot takes.
Listen, Zach, there's no need to compare takes. We can celebrate everybody's takes. We don't need to compare them.
I hate that.
We can celebrate everyone's takes. Be happy about all the takes that everyone has to offer.
All right, hot take safe zone. Will, you are our guest this week. You are filling in. Let's have you open up the hot take safe zone.
I'm very happy about this because this is my first appearance in the hot take safe zone. I've never felt safer to give out a hot take in my life. And I'm not sure how hot this take is. I'm gonna tell you, I spent a good amount of time trying to figure out a good take to give last night. And I couldn't really find one that was really hot, but I do like this one. And because I was watching this team while I was trying to figure out what my take was going to be, I think it's only a matter of time before the Lakers start star hunting and just give up on this core they currently have in place. I just watched this team and I feel like, man, there's so much pressure on LeBron to be great at 38 years old. And you look at the stuff he's doing right now, and we do this every year with LeBron. I can't believe he's doing this at 36. I can't believe he's doing this at 37. But like at 38 right now, the dude is averaging 26, 8, and 6. Shooting 59% from the field.
59%. I saw that last night. I was like, I know he's been good this year. Yeah.
He's second in the league in clutch points, shooting 70% in the clutch. I mean, he's doing unbelievable stuff with this team right now. And the games he's played in, they're 500 with him playing that way. Which tells you about just what they've got going on around them. I think they've dealt with some injuries. Gabe Vincent hasn't been there. I don't think Vanderbilt's played in one game yet.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's
that'll solidify their depth a little bit. But I still watch them and I say, man, it's so much on LeBron from night to night. And that's part of the reason why they had to make that deal last year to bring in D'Lo and all of those guys, because they just needed to take some pressure off of LeBron. And I feel like even with those guys now, the pressure's right back on LeBron to do everything. AD's not quite living up to what the Lakers fans want him to be. Big shocker there. And I think just eventually, we know LeBron always gets to the point every season where he says, you know what? These guys ain't got it. Like, we got to do something else. And we know LeBron kind of hits that moment every year where he just kind of analyzes his team with his like supercomputer brain.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm done with these dudes. And he's not at that point yet, but it feels like if he keeps having to do this, they're headed toward there. And the guys I kind of circled in my mind were the two Chicago guys, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. I'm not sure if they have the assets to go get those guys. But that's the thing. If you're going star hunting this year, there's not a whole lot of great candidates out there to go get, unless Kyrie does what Kyrie always does. But
which is possible. Things are going
very
really well in
possible.
Dallas, so
It
it's
depends,
right on schedule.
Depends how those sides are hitting for him at Thanksgiving. But nah,
What about Harden? Is Harden definitely going to stay?
Maybe.
Great question. That's a great question.
He's got to move down the hall now. He don't even have to go that far if he gets traded.
Do you know the on-off numbers for LeBron this year? The on-off net rating. It's like 7.7. They're plus 7.7 when he's on the court, which is fucking phenomenal. When he's off the court, they are minus 17.1 points per 100 possessions. They are worse than the Spurs without LeBron. They are worse than the Wizards. They are worse than they're worse than all those teams without LeBron on the court by a lot. By a lot. That's how crazy he's been this year.
And by the way, they paid all them dudes. They paid Rui. They paid Austin Reeves. They paid D'Angelo Russell. So it's not like, they invested in this team because they felt like this was what we're going to build upon, and it's just not good enough.
Do you need assets? Do you need a lot of assets to go get Zach LaVine? For DeRozan, I think you would. For LaVine, just taking that contract off of Chicago is an asset, isn't it?
I just want to go back to the on-off LeBron stats for a moment.
Okay.
Because I just looked up Anthony Davis with and without LeBron James. Anthony Davis.
I love where this discussion's going.
Without LeBron James, minus 16.7. Can you have some pride?
I have a question.
Can you play hard on every possession? Can you use your gravity to cut hard and get people open, get other people open? Can you do your job and be the second star that was promised?
Well, what if he stood 18 feet from the basket instead?
It's just like, why aren't you using your skills to help everybody? You should be so good, and yet so many times you're not. And he's awesome defensively, and I know people get mad.
Oh, you know what?
He has such another level to reach. There is no reason that LeBron James is 38 years old and they should be collapsing when he's off the court instead of when Anthony Davis is off the court. I'm sick of Anthony Davis. I'm sick of
having to do the qualifiers every time we criticize Anthony Davis.
No,
he's a good defender. Is there a star that you can remember that more people have to pretend to be in on?
You want to know the defensive rating? Speaking of defense, 122.5 when LeBron's off the court.
But how many years do we go into the season and they say LeBron's handing the reins over?
Passing the torch.
It's AD's team now. Listen,
the
guys, the MVP candidate on his team is Anthony Davis now, guys. Don't come looking at LeBron now. We do this every year.
I've said this forever about AD. He is a singularly amazing talent that I don't really think raises the level of teammates. I just don't. There are spurts here and there, but I just consistently, I didn't see it in New Orleans. You definitely don't see it right now. Maybe in that first season in LA, maybe. But I don't know how. I just think he's the person that we pretend to be in on as a superstar. You have to, because there's going to be a point where he's he plays really good basketball, but I thought you said he wasn't super. It's the same thing. Everyone goes through the same blank, vague look in their eyes once they start throwing out the qualifiers to soften the blow of what they're about to say Anthony Davis is. And that's just that's not even my hot take. That's the cold take I have. That's not even anything. I like that they're going to go star hunting here. Jay, would you like to go next or would you like to go last? I feel like you have some bullshit.
I can go next.
Okay.
You're going to want to clip this, maybe?
Wow. Called a shot.
Uh-oh.
My take is that I am the single dumbest person in sports media.
This could have been the unsafe zone. I would have.
I knew Zach was going there. I knew it.
We had a reporter come out and willingly acknowledge that she used to make up reports and fabricate reports.
Mm-hmm.
But it's me who's the dumbest in sports media. I said the Kings would regress. I said they would miss the playoffs. I said the Kings were going to fall from third place to out of the Western Conference playoff race because I thought injury luck was going to come their way. Yeah, injury luck came their way. De'Aaron Fox missed a few games.
For about 5 games.
Sprained his ankle.
They've lost one game with De'Aaron Fox in the lineup. He has reached a totally different level, and he is going to make me the single dumbest person in sports media.
I wouldn't blame him for that.
This is a good team, maybe a great team, at least in the regular season. And I was so wrong, and I already know I'm so wrong, and it's 12 games in, and I'm watching De'Aaron Fox just destroy the league. And how did I give up on my Kings? They were my Kings.
Not yours anymore, buddy.
They're up to a solid 14th in defense, by the way. Solid 14th.
Yeah.
And Fox is a shooter now. He's a shooter. They're tied 77-77 against Dallas the other night. Dallas goes zone. Sabonis kicks it out. Fox cans it. Next possession. Dallas goes man. They go under because it's De'Aaron Fox. Why wouldn't you go under? He's going to beat you to the cup if you don't. He stops. He hits a three. Next possession, transition. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Man in his face. He pulls up no matter what.
Feeling it, man. He was feeling it.
If this dude has a three ball, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's over. You cannot guard him. He's the fastest man alive. I was so wrong on the Kings. They're my Kings too, and I did them dirty, and I am the dumbest person in sports media. And I don't even know if that's a hot take. That may just be a normal take.
like
And listen, if Zach thought he hated award talk in November, I'm gonna go out and throw out there. If we were doing all NBA right now, De'Aaron Fox would be first team all NBA for sure.
Don't do this. If we were doing, I'm not even gonna. All right, I'm not even gonna get into this. I'm not taking the bait. I nibbled at the bait. I'm just gonna let it go. Okay, Dave, don't you dare fucking say the playoffs started today. If the playoffs started today, we would be fucking confused why on November 20th the playoffs are starting. We can't even understand that play-in tournament or the in-season tournament. We don't even understand that.
Right. We'd be like, why is the NBA playing Let's games in the NFL?
Oh my God. God, I hate that. That's the dumbest thing. If the playoffs started today, I can't even soften it saying you're participating in hack behavior. You're a hack. You're just a hack. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's so dumb. It's the dumb. If for some reason we surprised everybody with, hey, playoffs are tomorrow, we wouldn't be like, oh wow, the Thunder are the ones. No, we'd be like, oh shit, what happened? Why are we cutting out 70% of the season? I hate that. I really, really hate that. All right, my hot take is yes. I know they blew a 22-1 lead the other night. I know that happened, right? They ended up losing. Everyone's laughing at the Bulls all night, and the Heat ended up losing that game. But I've seen the Heat culture's court. I've read every word in that key. The Heat are getting the 2 seed in the East. I thought all season I'm like, they're probably like 6th seed, 5th seed, something like that, right? Going into the season, I'm like, they'll probably be in that range. I don't think there'll be a play-in tournament anymore. I think they'll be top 6. This team is good as is. They're hot despite that. Now they'll probably lose the Bulls tonight. Now that I've said this, but I don't care. It makes the take even hotter. And this is a safe zone. Jimmy Butler is calling out his 3-point percentage in game after every attempt. I could not love that man's personality more on the court. I just couldn't. Like, he is the biggest troll. He's the biggest weirdo. Jimmy Butler is just the exact superstar that I need in the NBA. Bam Adebayo is playing his ass off. We'll see if that continues in the playoffs because he has a hard time continuing that stuff in the playoffs. Duncan Robinson is dribbling, and it's a good idea.
Duncan Robinson can dribble.
He can dribble. He attacked a closeout, no hesitation. Attacked a closeout the other night and went up and under with this layup I thought he had tripped. I had no idea what he was doing. Like all of a sudden he's at the rim. He put that move on. He put the Smitty on Wemby the other day. Like this team they just got Caleb Martin back. Haywood Highsmith is starting to find a little bit of a groove in terms of his role. I still think they'll get something out of Drew Smith. I think at some point they'll have Jamal Cain there and he'll have to be converted to a regular contract from a two-way. But this team is good. And this team is going to get the 2 seed in the East. Philly, get out of here.
Are you? This is still a hot take safe zone.
It sure is. So you better ask this carefully.
Are you mildly concerned?
No.
That they only have a 0.1 net rating and are ranked 20th in offense?
Do you have to win by 1 or do you have to win by like 20 in order to get a win in the win column?
I'm just asking. This is hot take safe zone. This is simply a question.
What you sound like you're in the Blair Witch Project. You sound so scared asking.
I can't be argumentative. This is not argumentative.
God, I love this segment, man. He can just tell he's gonna go punch a window when this podcast is over.
And the key is too, they felt it slowing down a little bit, so they played their big joker, and Tyler Hero got hurt. So that's when they turn it up a whole nother level when Tyler Hero's out of the lineup.
Exactly. Will gets it. Will understands this hot take safe zone. He's not asking scared questions. He's hype manning this. He's accepting this. He's promoting this. No, I'm not concerned. Not concerned at all. I actually think their offense is quite good.
Are you concerned that the Bucks have seemed to find a groove and are now just smoking teams? The defense has come back. Offense is totally another level.
I could not be.
He's leading the witness. He's leading the witness.
This feels like an argumentative question, Jay.
This is no argumentative.
I am now implementing a penalty. If you get caught arguing, like get caught speeding, if you get caught arguing in the hot take safe zone, you lose your hot take the next time you're in it. You don't get a take. You just have to accept everything.
This is not arguing. I'm just simply asking questions.
Look,
I'm trying to help you formulate your take a little more.
I don't need to. It's a hot take. What's the formulation? I don't need it. They're the 2 seed. They're going to be the 2 seed in the East.
I want you to strengthen your take. I want you to have
the big bad Bucks. No one's worried about that. I mean, maybe
there you go. See, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
Can I give like a mini hot take that I wanted to get off, but I don't really believe it? But because I was sitting there at the Pels game the other night and I was looking up at the ceiling and I was like, you know what? Whoever wins the in-season tournament, I want them to hang a banner. I want a banner ceremony for whoever wins the in-season tournament. Because if we're going to really acknowledge this thing as like a real,
you have to treat it like a real championship.
You got to treat it like we're champions. You got to give out rings.
Jay's eye is twitching.
I want a parade. I want T-shirts and hats. If we're really going to acknowledge this as a real tournament, you got to celebrate the champions.
I want nothing more now than the Celtics to win the in-season tournament and hang a banner right up next to all of those pre-merger banners. I want it right in the middle of that 8-game win or that 8-year win streak. That's what I want. I want it right there. Can you
imagine,
really Jay? Can you imagine a beautiful, glistening white banner up there, the green lettering, right next to when was the last time they won one? 2008? Right next to 2008. NBA championship. NBA champions, 2008. KG and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen and Burke and Rondo and Posey and Eddie, all those guys, right? The blood, the sweat, the tears that they put into that. Ubuntu, all that stuff, right? KG yelling, brought glory back to Boston for the first time in basketball form since the 1986, right? Think about that banner up there, and then think next to it, 2023 in-season tournament champs.
I love it. They never lost an in-season tournament playoff game with their starting 5. I want to get that going. I love it. I love it.
God, Jay, can you just picture it? It's beautiful. What a beautiful.
I mean,
love this hot take from Will.
This is another fantastic hot take. There's nothing wrong with any of these hot takes.
Make sure you're checking
You
out.
can't judge the takes. I love it. I
Yeah,
love
make
it.
sure you're checking out Will's coverage on The Athletic, Jay's coverage of that in-season tournament banner that's going to go up, and his coverage of the Celtics. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter, theathletic.com/thebounce. And again, theathletic.com/NBA show. You get this for $1 a month. You get a subscription to The Athletic for $1 a month. It is the best coverage of sports on the internet. For Dave, for Will, for Jay, I'm Zach. Now we're all going to go try to find Josh somewhere in the mountains in Montana.